Knife already. This is the Andre Thorburn L51 Flipper Custom. I just brought this knife out just because I wanted to show it off again. I really can't get over how well this knife is actually made. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with custom knives, or has anybody ever thought about maybe going into customs. For me, I never really talked much about it, so I'm gonna want to use this knife as to explain how I got into customs. I was a regular production knife collector, like most of you guys. Pretty much ZT, Spartaco, Benchmade, all the basic knife companies that everybody's into. I watched the videos and everything. I knew absolutely nothing about customs. I didn't know customs even existed. Wasn't even aware of what a custom knife was. And then I found out that I had a custom knife store that I don't live nearby, but I mean, they're like in Seattle. They're only about a half hour away from where I live to 45 minutes, depending on traffic. And that's kind of like my Disneyland. There are like tons and tons of custom knives out there. Anyway, one day I walked into the store and looking around all these beautiful knives. I've never seen so many knives with so many different materials on them. And I got more and more involved into custom collecting as far as understanding what a custom knife is and what goes into it. And, how to appreciate a knife that's made by hand, which is pretty much what this knife is. This is the Andre Thorburn L51 custom flipper that I've talked about before. This knife, compared to any of the knives that you may buy, this knife is roughly probably 3 times the amount that it would cost to buy this knife. In other words, this is a $1,200 knife. Okay, let me just start that out. And I've done this video before. People are probably wondering, why the hell would anybody want to spend that amount on a knife? It is what it is. I mean, if you take a look at this knife here, you have to understand this thing is made by hand. Special attention. There's a big difference between production and custom. One of the main things is you're getting a knife that is, in many cases, made by one guy in one shop with the different materials that he uses. So the knife is getting special attention as it's being made. The challenge of a knife maker to make a knife, he's trying to create perfection in a way that's not mass produced. Okay, so it's all him. This knife is a work of art. Everything about this knife is a work of art, down to the action. The action itself is actually intentional. He meant to have the knife stop at this level and then just drop that way. That is actually the maker's intention to do that. So everything on this knife screams what the customer wanted, including the materials on the knife. The carbon, this is carbon fiber, by the way. You may have never ever seen carbon fiber like this, and you probably never will on a production piece. Or if you do, it'll probably be like only on one side of the knife rather than on both sides of the knife. You have to kind of learn how to appreciate every aspect of the knife, not only from the action, but to the way that the knife was put together. This is the file work done by Andre Thorburn. This is done by hand, the file work on that. And every time he does it differently. We've got a carbon fiber scale. On this knife, you can see the strands of carbon fiber on it. And here's something else, the milling on the pocket clip, which is Yeah, you can't even see it, but there's these real intricate machined lines on the pocket clip. And it doesn't matter, I can't do it. I can't even see it. But there's these milled lines in the pocket clip inside. I mean, you can feel it. And on this part of the knife, there's also milling there too, but it's even more intricate than it is on here. It's sort of like I don't know if I could put it up against. No, I can't. You can't see it, no matter how I focus it or angle it. But if you look super closely, probably may have to pause it and then zoom in on it. You'll see there's like this fingerprint, sort of like fingerprint milling right onto this part of the pocket clip. It's just insane. Probably the only thing that would turn people off on this knife aesthetically is probably all these screws. But this is the maker signature, these screws for this model, which is the L51. And I think it does kind of add like a nice aesthetic to it with all the screws on there. But the star of the show are these carbon fiber handles. It's gold camo carbon fiber, and if you look at it in the light, it's sort of got this 3D shimmering effect on the knife there. So yeah, I mean, if you were to ask me, is that knife really worth like $1,200? I'm going to say, yeah, it is. It's worth $1,200. Here's the other thing. This is a one-of-a-kind handmade piece. You're never going to see another one that looks just like this. It's not like he did 10 of these or 15 of these. This is the only one that he made with this carbon fiber on it, and I own it. It's mine. That alone is a reason to get into customs, to own a collection of knives that are all one of a kinds, or maybe two of a kinds, or three of a kinds, and you know that there's not that many people out there that own that knife. Yeah, so it's really just an amazing piece, and I just wanted to bring it out because I really appreciate it. So I guess this video is really more for me than for anybody else, but I mean, if you ever wanted to get into owning a special knife, custom is the way to go. I like the pivot on this knife. It looks more like a sort of like a wheel on a car, like the driver. I can't even think, but yeah, I love that look on it. I never did understand what the holes were on the flipper there. I want to say this to reduce weight, but it makes no sense. I just don't know why they would choose to have holes in the handle. But I mean, it doesn't bug me that much. But they've done that on production knives as well. Spyderco's done it. Benchmade's done it. I never understood why they have the two holes on there. It's just not sure. Anyway, I just wanted to bring this knife out for a second look and talk about it somewhat. Because it really is an amazing work of art that Andre has created for me. I'd like to call him a friend, but he's not. He's more of a close acquaintance. Can we say that? Because I've spoken to him 4 or 5 times. I've seen him at the Blade Gallery. I've seen him at Blade Show. He knows who I am. He knows that I own several of his knives. The first one he ever made for me is actually on my channel. It was an Eagle Custom with white Westinghouse scales on it, and this one he did not make for me, but I kind of wish that he did make it just for me, but he didn't. This is a one-of-a-kind handmade piece that I picked up at the Blade Gallery, and I saw it, and it just caught my eye. I'm really happy about the fact that the backspacer on it this time is actually carbon fiber. On my Eagle knife that he made for me, which was my very first custom, I didn't know much about customs back then, but that was G10 that he used on there. So it's kind of nice to see that I've got carbon fiber on the knife. So every piece of this knife is made with premium material. The blade is M390. So it's definitely a steel that everybody is familiar with. And the great thing about Andre Thorburn is that he makes knives that are elegantly well put together and look elegant. I mean, you could wear this with a suit. You could bring this with you somewhere and have it in your pocket, wear it with a suit. You know, he speaks excellence, but at the same time, he doesn't make a knife that is so elegant looking and so beautiful and so out there that it's not functional. You could use this knife for everyday carry, which I believe is what Andre Thorburn hopes everybody's doing with his knives. But and I'm not gonna ever say that I won't use this knife. But for now, yeah, this is a save queen, because I've got some custom knives that I've used once or twice. I don't use my knives heavily that are custom, just because I continue to enjoy them as works of art. But that doesn't mean that I don't use them. I just don't use them as heavily as I do my production knives. But I mean, damn, that action is ridiculous. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, is it important to own a superior cutting knife or cutting tool? For me, it is. I mean, even if I'm not going to be using it, like I said, I'm drawn more to the artwork than I am to the functionality. And I am jealous of people that can buy custom knives like I buy them and then just use them as soon as right out of the box to go do something heavy with it. I just don't. To me, the knife is a work of art. It's an amazing piece, both aesthetically and functionally. I mean, to have art in your pocket, I think, is just a luxury that, you know, many of us are kind of happy that, you know, we can afford this much for a knife. Anyway, I just wanted to give a little chat, a little shout out to you guys out there regarding customs, and just, you know, maybe a little bit later on down the line, I might do, you know, another video on my custom knives. In fact, I'm actually thinking about bringing out all my custom knives and just naming them all off one by one. That's actually going to take some study because I don't remember half the names of the knives that I own. But I do remember the materials that are on it, so that'll be kind of fun to do. In any case, like I said, I've got another video I'm going to do tomorrow on a brand new knife I'm getting in the mail today. Can't wait to get that one. In the meantime, this is Omar, your South African knife guy. I'm back trying to improve on how to do these videos. Doing them vertically for now until I can find an easier way to do it. I would like to do it, you know, horizontally instead of vertically, but, you know, right now this is what I'm working with. So I'm going to try and elevate it back to where it was before. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Just wanted to share. Although I can see that everybody's kind of bored and have left this particular video, but that's okay. I'm sure you guys will probably check it out later. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. This is Omar, your South African knife guy. And I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new knife. Thanks so much for watching, and you guys have a great day.